Good morning to my morning QR class. So today we're going to work on lesson 1.5. I wanted to do a couple of quick announcements. And oh, it's going to be a whole thing here because I haven't logged in yet. So if you want to get out your lesson 1.5, it starts on page 75 while I get logged in here for a moment. I fixed the due dates. I know you're all going to be very happy about that. In Alex, that was a total mix-up on my end. So lessons 1.5 and 1.6 should be due this Sunday, I believe, or I might have had them due. Yeah, I think they're due this Sunday. So that should all be set now. Okay. And I should be able to go in and see our class. So I'm going to show you some updates that I had here. Everybody should be working on their project 1 that is due. So project 1 is due on September 30th. So today we're going to work on 1.5. There'll be a lesson check. 1.4 worksheet is due today. At the top here of the information, I put a couple things. So I have YouTube videos now for each lesson by me. If you click on that, it's me going through all the problems that we're doing in the live session, but I'm going kind of quickly because it's me by myself. So I put lesson 1.5 part 1 in there, and I'll do the second part with the carpet later. And then down here at the bottom, it's our lesson schedule. So if you click on that, disregard the dates because the dates I didn't bother with the dates because we meet twice a week. And essentially, even if you're not in the live sessions, you have 2 lessons every week that need to be completed. But it at least tell you what problems we're working on in the math in our world for each lesson. So today we're going to be, the prep skill starts on 75, but we're going to start problems on page 77. And then part 2, so when it goes page and then 1 through 10, that's going to be part 1 if I make more than one part in the videos. And then page 81, 1 through 12 will be in the second part of the videos today. And then this week I'll get 1.6 and 1.7 completed as well. Thursday in class we'll do 1.6. And then I wanted to remind you that next week I will not be holding live sessions on the 21st and 23rd because I'll be out of town. And so I'm leaving those 2 days that you can go back and watch the 1.7 videos. I'm going to try on Thursday to do a little bit of 1.6 and a little bit of 1.7 so that you kind of get the gist of both, but then you can always go back and watch the videos for more content. So next Tuesday and Thursday, that gives you 2 days that are kind of free to work on your Unit 1 project, wrap up that. And then I'm going to move it so everybody has a lesson, a knowledge check after Unit 1. I got to get that fixed. I appreciate Brandon reminding me that there was still like knowledge checks in between your units. And I plan to have a knowledge check after each unit. So that'll be a good spot for that. And then working on your Unit 1 review. So that I have here, but I don't think it's actually due on the 28th. So I have it there just to remind you that I would like you to be working on that. And that says Unit 1 Review B because there's 2 reviews in our course pack. So the package that has all of your worksheets and such, that's where you're going to find all of those. Anybody have any questions on updates so far? Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to share my screen here. Hopefully everybody on the live call has all of their content and the math in our world. So here are just a few prep skills. Before the lesson, it's kind of good to always just look through these and just make sure, see if you have any questions over some of the prep skills. Today, we're going to be doing some percentages. Again, we did percentages in 1.1 and also percent increase and decrease in lesson 1. So this formula here. Today, something new that we haven't talked about yet this semester is area, which is length times width. And in addition to doing area, we're also going to have some unit conversion. So they might say a room is 15 inches by 3 feet. So we have to get them into the same unit before we can multiply them. Okay. So that goes to the unit conversions that we did in lesson 1.4. And then here's some practice questions. So there'll always be some practice questions. The answers are at the back of the lesson, at the end of the lesson. So around page 89. So if you want to go there, do these before the lesson and then check your answers. That'll just kind of make sure that you've got those prep skills. So to get everybody going, let's kind of read through the intro, and then I'll let you all kind of work together. So it says, when you sit with a nice girl for 2 hours, you think it's only a minute, but when you sit on a hot stove for a minute, you think it's 2 hours. That's relativity. So have you ever, kind of an example I like to throw out there is, when you're little, doesn't it seem like it takes forever for the cycle of a year to go around where you have Christmas again? It's like, oh, when is Christmas coming?
Yes.
And has anybody noticed, like, as you get older, you're like, oh my gosh, it's already Thanksgiving. They're already putting out the Halloween stuff. Christmas is only 10 weeks, or like, I think Christmas is only like 12 weeks away, you guys. Can you believe that? So, when your time span that you've been on Earth is small, right? A year to Christmas is quick, right? It's a big percentage of the time you've been on the Earth. But when you've been here for a long time, it's a very small portion. And so it goes quicker. It feels like you just did it. So, so two scenarios that I want you to consider that you're going to be working with in this first section is, one scenario is that you, I owe you $20 and I pay you 10 instead. Don't have the other $10. How are you going to feel about that? Compared to, let's say you win $5 million, but they actually only pay you $4,999,990. So either way, you're shorted $10, but which one, they're asking us here, which one do you think that you're going to feel it more?
Probably the $20 one.
Why do you think that?
Because it's half, not, well, whatever 10 off of 5 million is, like 5,000 or whatever it is.
Right. So if I only have like $30 in my pocket and I loan you 20 and you only pay me 10, that's a big portion of what I have, right? For my spending for the day or the week or whatnot. Yeah. So that $10 is, we call that relativity. And so I'm going to have you read through here. The relative change formula down at the bottom is essentially the same percent increase and decrease formula that we did back in 1-1. They just have some different value or words to describe it. So remember, we did the amount of increase or decrease over the original value. That's essentially this formula here. Or that's one way to look at it. Or you can say, I've got this new value minus the original value, which is the change, divided by the original value. So you can use either one of these thinkings to work on this. So I'm going to let you all get started, the three of you. I'm going to put you in a breakout room so you guys can chit chat and work, and then I'll come and check in on you. So you'll all start on page 78 is where they're going to start kind of walking you through this. I'm just checking in with everybody.
What numbers are we going through?
So, oh, I mentioned earlier, the schedule is at the bottom of our top portion of our JetNet page, I put the schedule for the whole semester, so you don't have to wait for me to send that Google Doc.
Oh,
But
okay.
today, we're working on page 77. It's like 1 through 13, I believe. No, 1 through 10. And then page 81, 1 through 12. So it's all about relative change. How's everybody doing so far? What did you get for comparing the relative change for number 1 there on page 78? Does anybody get that calculation?
For the decimal, I was gonna reduce the fraction, but I got the decimal.
Yeah, what
I wrote it and the decimal is 0.999998.
Ooh, what was your calculation then?
I just did the 4.9 million and then all the other nines there and then divided by 5 million.
Is that how everybody else calculated theirs?
I found like the actual change and then I put it into the other equation for relative change.
Okay, so let's just go back real quick to make sure. So we're talking either the change, so the change wasn't the 4,999,990, right? The change was actually negative $10.
Yeah,
So that's, so I think just your value, your ratio is gonna be just opposite. Your decimal will just be opposite.
yep, it was.
Okay, so it should, so Kelsey, did you have a negative 10 over the 5 million?
Yeah, yes.
And then, let me get back to my decimal here. So that's the fraction, right? And then you could leave it reduced there. I couldn't resist. I had to turn it into a decimal because this is a great opportunity to talk a little bit about scientific notation. So at least my calculator comes out as this in scientific notation. And the -6 means we have to move our decimal, which we don't see. It's right here. We have to move it to the left 6 places, right? So it's still a negative value, but it just means now we have 5 zeros and then the 2. And that's our decimal version. But if we want it as a percent, then we have to move our decimal to the right 2 again. So it's still negative, but the percent would be 0.0002%. Oh, wait. 3 zeros, Mrs. Main. So let's just write it correctly. Negative 0.0002%. Okay, so it's the change, the difference, and you have to make sure if it goes down, it's negative. So does anybody have any ideas? How would you come up with a number 3? That's a good one.
It would be good if you were 2 points shy away from passing, and it wouldn't help very much if you already got 100.
That's true. That's true. What if, does anybody else have any 2 scenarios? 2 scenarios where one where it's like, that really helped me, and the other one where it's like, nah, 2 points didn't really do much.
I guess if you have a really low grade in the class and you needed that additional 2 points on a test or something to help you boost up your grade so you don't fail.
Okay,
And then like he was saying, if you already have like a 4.0 or something, or like a 3.9 in the class, then the additional 2 points on something might not be as useful.
okay. So I'm gonna propose, what if there was a quiz, okay, and the quiz was out of 5 points. And I earned 2, and teacher gave me 2, so now I have 4 out of 5. Would that help me more overall, or compared to a test where there was 100 points and I had a 50 and they gave me 2 points, so now I have a 52 out of 100? Some thoughts to contemplate. Which one do you think the 2 points makes a bigger impact?
The one
The
on the left.
quiz,
Why do you say the quiz, Kelsey?
because you're almost at 100% with the 2 points added.
Okay, so before I had 2 out of 5, so 2 out of 5 is 40%. My teacher generously gave me 2 points. Now I'm at 80%. I'd much rather end up with an 80% than a 40. Would y'all agree there? Over here, I had a 50% on the test. That was nice of them to give me 2 points, right? But that only took me up to a 52%. I'm not even close to passing. So trying to help you see that the denominator is what makes the biggest role. So when you have a smaller role, a smaller denominator, right? And the impact is bigger than if you have a bigger denominator, the impact is smaller. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the breakout room, so I'll let you guys keep working. Share with each other. About the main session there. Kelsey had a question?
Yeah, on number 9. I'm just not sure about it, I guess.
Anybody else at number 9?
So yeah, so is the 5.4 wrong then? Because I went to number 10 and read it, and it says it's misleading. So
Right. Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, so on number 8, what did you get for if they really did give a 7% increase?
like 466 million or something like that.
Was it 466?
465 one of them. I didn't round it up. I put the thousands in there too.
Okay, just something, I was just gonna grab my paper and just make sure we're on the same page, not that. Let's see what I do with it, Mrs. Smith. Yeah, like 465.45.
Yeah.
So the increase would have been about 30.45 million. And then, so the new budget should be about 465.545. Did you have that, Kelsey?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's if they gave a full 7% increase, right? Well, then if you work through this solved example problem, it looks like they gave an increase, but it was only 1.15%. Is everybody in agreement with that?
Yeah.
So they're saying, the news article said, oh, a news article reports that this program has been cut by 5.4%. Well, if you add 5.4 and 1.15, it doesn't get you to the 7, but it gets you close. It's like 6.54%, right?
Yeah.
So the newspaper is saying it got cut by 5.4%, but did it really get cut by 5.4%, or it just didn't get increased by the full 7%?
Just didn't get fully increased.
Right. So if it was actually decreased, I said it was misleading, because if it was actually decreased, then the money in that area would have went down. It still went up. They still increased the money that they were putting into that area. It just wasn't a full 7%. So that's where in our life too, media can persuade you I can use lots of numbers to persuade you in any direction I want you to go, right? And so that's where that's misleading. It wasn't cut. It's just they didn't give the full 7%. And I wish he would have had the exact number to add the 7, because I think maybe everybody would have caught on more. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
The amount that it didn't go up though, so the difference between the 5 million that it increased and the 30.45 million that it increased, then they said it was going to increase. Let's take the difference there. So 30.45 minus 5. Actually, it should have been 5 minus. So it was 25.45 million less, right? out of the, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out where they're getting this 5.4%. So they increase it by, they shorted what they said they were gonna increase it by 25.45 million. And let's say that's out of the 435. So, let's see. They increased it by 5, but they said they were gonna increase it by 30.45. Yeah. So out of the 435 million. So it looks like they shorted it by 5.8 or 5.9%. So I don't know where they're getting the 5.4, but it's misleading again because they did increase the amount of money, just not as much as what they had said they were going to.
Right.
Does that help, Kelsey?
Yeah.
It's a little tricky. So everybody's on. That's the first part. I want to make sure everybody's through question number 10. Anybody have questions about 8, 9, and 10? Carter, Brandon, everybody's okay?
Yep.
I'm here from Carter. And I think Carly's here now too. She is. Okay, the next section is all about buying carpet. And you guys are young, so I'm not sure. Has anybody here ever bought carpet for a home?
I have not, but for construction, I had to do the calculations.
Oh, so we're going to be talking about air in this lesson, and notice there's a similar formula to the one we've used in 1.1, the one we just used earlier in the lesson, but now it's called percent air, but it's the same thing where we're taking a difference, right, between an estimated value and an actual value. And make sure that you're always taking the estimated value minus the actual out of the actual, okay? Make sure that's the formula that you're using. So they say here, Brandon, that when they estimate for carpet, they always kind of overestimate.
Yes.
Right.
Always do the same thing with concrete too.
Yeah, they make you buy more than what you need, which I understand. They kind of have to round up and things like that, but sometimes it's by a lot, because my nephew sells carpet and he's like, well, we have to round up to whatever feet because it comes in this many feet. And I'm just like, so I'm forced to buy more because your company chooses to only make it in a certain size? Apparently, yes, that's true.
Whole numbers are good numbers in construction, so that's probably why they do it, just to keep it easy.
Right.
I mean, buying carpet is not bad. You just got to measure out your room or your rooms, and then you got to add it all together. And then you got to remember that, well, you're also going to have like 3/4 of an inch for trim and other stuff like that.
Right.
It's not bad.
Right. Okay. So everybody's going to want to read through here because we're going to be talking about doing some estimates or underestimates and overestimates. And then the rest of this lesson is going to be about carpet in this room here, this bedroom. And make sure you kind of read it thoroughly. They're going to have you do some pieces. And back to the beginning of the lesson, we had a couple people add in since we introduced the lesson this morning, but remembering that area is length times width. And units have to be the same when you're calculating. Okay, so make sure you're paying attention to that. And I'll let you all work. Make sure you're sharing with each other. So what questions does everybody have on the area of the carpet and all that other good stuff?
For number 7, when it's the 24 and 2/3, when you have to like find the percent error. When it's the 24 and 2/3, should I turn that into a decimal, or how can I do it with leaving it?
I probably would. And 24 and 2/3, you're gonna have the rounded, right?
Yeah,
So 24.67. That's
okay.
square yards, so square yards, yeah. So we gotta use that. That's what the estimated, right?
Yep.
Has everybody been sharing their measurements for all of these up here to make sure everybody's getting the same values?
I just got back, but we did for a minute, yes.
Okay.
I think mine are a little bit different than your guys's.
Okay, so we should probably go through that. So what is the area of just the bedroom? How do we
Uh,
find that?
23,296.
Does everybody agree on that?
Yeah,
Okay, so that's the 128 times the 180.
Yep.
Okay, so you said that's what?
23,296.
Okay, and they're both in inches, so we're okay, so it's inches squared. And then it says find the area of the closet in square inches.
I got 3,200.
Anybody agree or disagree with that?
agree.
60 times 50, so 3,200, okay. And then it says each of the doorways is 30 inches wide. So this part right here is 30. And 4 inches thick. Carpet is needed for the entire doorway between the bedroom and the closet. So this one right here. So it's 4 inches that way, right? And then 30 inches this way. So I'm going to say closet door. And it says, and in half of the doorway into the bedroom. So this door doesn't need the full, like this door over here needs the full 30 times the 4 inches, right?
Yeah,
So that one's 120 square inches. But this one doesn't need the full 4 inches because maybe the
Oh.
hallway is like hardwood floor. So this only needs how many inches going this way?
2.
2 inches. So I'm gonna say hallway door is 30 times 2. So that one's only 60 square inches. Okay. And so then we need to know what is the total. So we've got 23,296. We've got 3,200. We've got 120 and then 60. Everybody in agreement on those?
For mine, I did it wrong on the hallway door. I accidentally did the full 120 instead of the 60. So I have 60 extra in square inches, which really shouldn't make much of a difference with squared yards.
Yeah, may not make too much there. So this would be 26,676. Can anybody confirm that on the square inches?
Yeah, that's what I got.
Okay,
Yeah, that's what I got as well.
awesome. Is that Carly or is that Kelsey? So convert the total carpeted area to square yards. So because we have inches squared, we have to do it twice, right? Our inches to yards. What we did in the last lesson. So this is over
Yeah.
1. And so we have inches to yards. I don't know inches to yards. I know inches to feet. So I'm going to do that first. 12 inches is in 1 foot. Then I got to do that again. So my inches cancel, but I need to go from feet to yards. Now, if anybody knows inches to yards, you can do that, but I'm gonna have to use my feet. So now I got to get rid of the feet and the feet and go to yards. So there's 3 feet in 1 yard. So that gets rid of 1 of my feet. And then there's 3 feet in the second. So now I am left with yards times yards, which is great because that's what we wanted, right? Yards squared. So now in Desmos, I'm going to take and multiply each of these fractions, which is cool because I really end up with 26676 times 1. So it's 266 times or 76 over 12 times 12 times 3 times 3. So I can do that in my calculator here. 12 times 12 times 3 times 3. So that becomes 1296. So when I divide that, 26676 divided by 1296, we get, did anybody get approximately 20.58 square yards?
Yeah.
Does that match for anybody else?
Yeah, that's what
So,
Yeah, I got to see as well.
okay, so you're gonna write a statement there, and then you're gonna find the percent error down here, because this is what Stephen actually asked me a question about, but I went and kind of got my nose in this, but that's okay, because I want to make sure everybody's following along. And we're gonna use the formula that we discussed, the percent error formula, that's the estimated value minus the actual divided by the actual. So what we found over here, the 20.58 is our actual, right? So I'm gonna let you all calculate that. And then you can move on to question number 8. I'll let you keep working, and then I will come back and check in on you on the percent error.
Good. I was gonna ask if anyone else got the same I don't know what it's called, percent to find the difference for number 11.
What percent error did everybody get for number 7?
Oh, I got 20%.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I also
I don't know
got
if I
that.
did it wrong, but I got 16.58%.
Let's see. Oh, I got, my difference was 4.09, and if you divide by the actual 20.58, I get 19.87%. So let me share my screen real quick on this, Stephen, before I go to the other.
Okay.
Sorry, this always is very touchy for me to get to my share screen here. So our estimate was 24.67, subtracting the actual, and make sure you divide by the actual.
So I did end up getting 20% because I did use the estimated instead of the actual, so
Oh, okay.
I did do it wrong.
So everybody's good with that. So let's move to, do we need 8 and 9? So it says, not everyone realizes, but when you buy carpet, you pay the estimated amount. So if the family that owns a house in diagram picked the carpet that costs 28 per square yard, so how much would they have paid here? So they're paying $28 per square yard, right?
Yeah.
And so we're paying for the 24.67 square yards.
Yep.
Is that right? 20, yeah. I'm trying to respond real quick to a student here. And so my square yards would cancel. And so my cost would be approximately $690 because of the rounding. Everybody agree on that? So it says use the actual error in the estimate to find the dollar value wasted. So the actual error we said was approximately 4.29 square yards difference.
4.09, right?
09. Yep, I can't read my writing too far away. So if we multiply that by the $28 per square yard, I'm just writing this out so that I can verify for myself that I can't set the square yards in. I mean with dollars here. So we would have wasted about $114.52. Is everybody in agreement with that?
Yep.
And then according to the internet, a good rule of thumb is to plan for 5 to 10% waste when buying carpet. How did the estimator do? So did they waste 5 to 10% on the carpet? We said that they over estimated by 20%, right?
Yeah.
So I say that estimator did a terrible job
Yep.
because he estimated 20% more instead of 5 to 10%. Any questions so far? So your other question was on 11 here.
Yeah.
Okay, no questions so far. So one suggestion for estimating carpet is to measure each room in inches and round up to the nearest half foot and ignore the doorways. Using the measurements for the closet and the bedroom, make an estimate for the square feet needed. Okay, so first we have to do it in inches. And then turn this to square feet, but we have to round up to the nearest square foot. So let's see. And so they said to use the closet in the bedroom. So let's do the closet and the bedroom. So the closet, we said was 3,200 square inches, right?
Yep.
So we have to get that into feet so that we can round up to the nearest half foot. So 1 foot, 12 inches, 1 foot, 12 inches. So 3,200 divided by 144 is 22.22. And so it says round up to the nearest half foot. So we have to round up to 22.5, right?
Okay.
Is how I'm estimating that. Anybody agree, disagree on that?
I did mine a little differently, but I see that that one works better. My answer is like an inch, like 2 inches more.
I'm sorry, what?
I was saying that my my estimate that I got was like 2 inches more, but because I did it differently than you did.
Well, let's see if I do the bedroom and if we add them and then round up, it might change. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
let's do the bedroom. Oh. Kelsey's must have gotten kicked out. So let me look at this. Let's add her back to the breakout room. Okay, so the bedroom then we said was 23,296 square inches. So we're gonna have to do the same thing here, right? So basically 1 square foot is 144 square inches. So 23,296 divided by 144. So this comes out to be 161.71. So this would round to 162 square feet, right? So if we use these measurements, we would have 184.5 square feet. But if we added our square inches and did it directly from there, 3,200 plus 23,296, then divided by 144, I'd have 184 even. Did you get either of those, Stephen?
No, because I see what I did wrong. Okay.
But another way, so I'm just kind of throwing out, another way is that they could have said, let's turn, maybe they wanted us, it says, to measure each room in inches and round up to the nearest half foot. So if we turn these into feet, it might change it just even more, right? So if we say one and a
Yeah,
half
because
foot
that's what I
inches
did.
and 12 by 2, then this becomes 15.2 feet. So we have to round up to 15.5 feet. Is that what you did?
Yeah, that's what I did.
Oh, Carter did it that way. I'm sorry. Everybody's voices are sounding the same. So 128 divided by 12. So this one is going to be 10.67 feet, which rounds up to 11 feet, right? So now we have 15.5 times 11, 15.5 times 11. So the bedroom, I'm going to do these over here. So rounding first. So the bedroom I get 170.5 square feet. And then in the closet, this 64 inches divided by 12. So this would be 5.33 rounded up to 5.5 feet. And then the 50 divided by 12 would be 4.17 rounded up to 4.5 feet. So 5.5 times 4.5 gives me 24.75. Is that what you had, Carter? Square feet. So that added to the bedroom, I get 195.25 square feet. Woo! Those are all kind of different, right? Depending on at what point do you round?
Yeah.
At what point do you change your inches to feet? So I'm thinking actually this 195.25 is probably how they do that, because it says measure each room in inches, which we did, and then round up to the nearest half foot. So we should have probably done our unit exchange first and rounded, is my guess there. List some situations where relative change is much more useful number than actual. So I think when you're trying to compare apples to apples to things, so like if I wanted to say, I tend to be shorter compared to other women, and maybe one of you might be taller compared to other men. So we can't actually go by our difference in height compared to the average. We actually have to say, what percent am I lower than women, or what percent taller are you than males? So I think that might be one. Anybody else have some ideas of one?
I guess kind of along the same lines, you could do like average shoe size, or like how small are you with shoe size. But I don't know, I'm trying to think of other differences.
Anybody else have any thoughts? That's really all I had for today.
Wait, so on the previous question on number 11,
Uh-huh.
was 195? I just have a question on the previous question. So number 11 was 195.25 fee. Was that for the actual or was that the estimated?
Well, these are all estimated because the 195.25 is if you turn your inches into feet and round up to the nearest half foot
Mm-hmm.
and then do your length times width. So that's this one. These over here, we took all inches, found the area, and then switched them over to feet, square feet, and then rounded to the nearest half foot. And so that's why these two are smaller, because
Okay.
we turned our square inches into square feet afterward and then rounded up to the nearest half foot, where here we turned it into feet right away. I hope this is not the lesson check. Anybody mark the lesson check? Let's go see what the lesson check is. Let me see here. Oopsie. Let's see. There we are. I've got all the scavenger hunt and the 1.1s graded, and I'm going to be starting on the 1.2 and 1.3s today. Hopefully I'll get those caught up. And then hopefully I'm caught up. We're talking about the 1.5 lesson check. The 1.5 lesson check is answer question 8 on page 83. So I'm going to put in what I think we should have, and I'll tell you if what we did today is correct to put in for what everybody got for the cost on the estimated cost here.
I just tried to put in 690 and it told me I was wrong.
But we had 690.76, right?
Oh, okay, so I rounded up.
Well, it says rounded 2 decimal places. So that means it wants the change. And I'm going to see if mine is correct. Once you submit, yes, go ahead and submit. And I got 0 points. So let's see what Eric put in. This is a great question. I'm glad that I'm going over this with you all. So on some of these, I will go in and put multiple possible answers, like within some reason. So I'm going to go in and check this out here. Let's see. I have to go in here, edit the quiz here. They have 690 point. Oh, is it 6.7 or 7.6? Did anybody double check my answers?
I got a 7 for my first decimal.
28 times 24.67, right? So 690.76. Did anybody else get 0.76?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say we rounded $28 and we multiplied by 24.66. We rounded our change up originally right on the 2/3 to 6.7. Then he would have 69.48. I'm gonna add some extra answers here. So it's really 0.76, like we have. The answer that we have, 690.76, is the true answer. So I'm gonna have to change this.
Okay.
And then I'm also going to give, if somebody puts 690.48, depending on how they round it, that shouldn't be, but that should be it. So now try it again, Kelsey, hon.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Good, okay. So I'm gonna go in and I'll fix the one for the other class as well, because that's gonna be correct. So everybody should be good on the lesson chat. Any questions?
Yeah, I got that. I got it as well, so we're good.
Yeah, to work done, yay. So if anybody wants to stay and get a start on the 1.5 worksheet, I'm happy to like make sure everybody's getting going on that. If we get that out right now, we can just address some things. Make sure that that's all good. So the 1.5 worksheet here, let me,
Wait, the answer was 670.76, right?
nope, on number 8, it was 690.76. It should have been $28 times $24.67. Right here.
670.76.
Mhm. Okay. So, let's see. So let's look here at the 1.5 worksheet. So if anybody wants to stay, you can stay and work on this. But it says in 2016, the US government spent 470 billion on federal contracts. In 2017, they spent 510 billion. So find the difference in spending, the actual difference, then find the relative difference, and then interpret the relative difference in context of the situation. And I can't remember, and it's only one page. So you guys could have this done, boom, this morning and turn it in. How about that? So you're working on the 1.5 worksheet?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
for number, or for letter B, can we write that in scientific notation or should we not?
Letter B. Well, the relative difference should be in full decimal form. And then I usually like rewrite mine in percent form, because when you go to part C and you're going to interpret it, you're going to actually interpret it using a percentage.
Okay, all right.
Okay, Carter, I've got the one. It's almost ready to go. Oh, shoot. So we said 690. Let me just get my 2 answers in, Carter, and then I'll update your class here.
Okay.
And I better let the other instructors realize. The situation. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, so for the relative difference in spending, I got 8.51%.
Anybody else?
I got the same.
Okay. Mhm. Was that an increase or decrease?
An increase.
Mhm. Okay. Oh, whoops, I'm gonna. Carter has a quick question, so we're gonna run to the breakout room. And over here.
Good.
So And I feel bad, you guys all stayed and you're probably done, but that's okay. I wanted to address real quick on the end of the recording when, I'm gonna share my screen here. So whenever I ask you to interpret something in context of the situation, I want you to answer for me what, when, how much, based on the story of what we have going on.
Okay.
So some things about what, when, how much, what would be, we're talking about relative difference, right? So I don't want to totally give it away. If someone wants to share their answer, they can. When, so in this case, we're talking about 2016 to 2017, right? And what we're also talking about government spending. And how much, how much is really the actual value of the relative difference, which was a positive 8.5%. So I want you to take this information and tell me a sentence. Like if you had to report, let's say this was your household, right? And you increase your household spending by 8.5%. And you had to tell your spouse, like, honey, it looks like when I looked at the numbers, we spent 8.5% more than we spent last year. So I want you to tell me the story of what's going on. This isn't about me and my household, right? It's about the government. So I want you to tell me, so whenever it says in context, I want you to go to tell me about the story. Like you want to be able to portray a story to someone. Anybody have any questions over that? Sorry for the loud noises. I'm charging my calculator. It's dying. Any questions?
I don't have any.
Okay, well, I'll catch you guys all on Thursday for 1.6.
Awesome. Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone. I'm happy to stay if anybody has a question.
Can I just read my number or my letter C to you just to see if it makes sense to you?
Sure, just 1 minute, just a minute.